What does an owl understand? A real spider. As an ox, any strength leader, without this chief, staff, goal, authority, protection, bind, leading, and teaching, this chief gives no authority, binding, protection, control toward, and this staff, leadership, and teaching, also like no, do not nothing of this mark. Sign, covenant, signature, identification of people, place, thing, of this family house, inside, this tent floor plan, stored and surrounded, contained with this blowing, also like to look, regard, behold, any pretending attempted strength, not this chief, authority, control toward this staff, ox, binding to protect, lead, and teach, also like near, with among, to, anything on these waters, away from this massive, mighty, lifted up unknown sea, blood and water, anything in of that chaos, tumult, blemish, as if drink, not from this head in person, from this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, this chief, power, leader, strength, ox, to look at this life revealed, this breath, life with this anointed tent peg, hooked to secure, added to connect, fix, join things. Also like appearance, vision, sight, form, all not connected, added, hooked to secure to this anointed nail. Ox, chief of control toward authority, protection, staff, and goal, binding to lead, teach, also like near, with among too. Anything that may try to walk, carry as a camel, not at all of this, family house, inside this tent floor plan of, with this head in person from this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, also like high, exalted, lofty, or from this line, of this sun, sun on this horizon, day, line of today, to gather, to this Father, hook to secure, this anointed tent peg, nailed blood, water, from this massive lifted up sea, unto chaos, tumult, blemish, this mark, sign, covenant, signature and identification of people, place, thing, strength, this hook to secure, to join things, fix, connect, also like height, stature, since due to, from this palm of hand, to tame, subdue, allowed, this hand, thrust, of this arm, as a deed, made to physically observe, also like for, if, when, surely indeed, that not of this, blood, water, lifted up, mighty unknown sea, chief and ox, strength, leader of power, shield pierced, thorn in this hand of this staff to grab hold of, established to prevent, support, this mark, sign, covenant, identification of people, place, thing of breath, life to look at. In this man, anointed tent peg, nailed, hook to secure, connect, fix, and to join things. Also like reject, despise, refuse. As this, palm of hand to tame, subdue allowed this hand, thrust of this arm, as a deed, made to physically observe, also like for, if, when, surely indeed, a staff with no chief, goal with no authority, binding, control toward protection, leading, teaching, strength, power, ox, chief, also like no, not. Does Nkkhchah see anything as if, strength, and an ox from this chief, leader, power, strength divided, pressed, repeated, and sharpened, from this head and person from this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first inheritance, and possession, also like who, which, that, when, where, how, this hand of this arm, thrust with deed of this head and person, from this beginning, as top man, of this topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, ox of this chief, breath, and life revealing to mankind, also like to see, look at, inspect, perceive. Lo and behold, look at this revealed life in mankind, a breath of life as man. Really this ox of this chief, this tent door and pathway, hung down, lowered as entry, two through move with blood, water, two into this massive, mighty lifted up unknown sea, also like man, mankind, human, Adam. And if not, since due to, of this palm of hand, to tame, subdue, that which, whom, allowed, this hand thrust. Thrust of this arm, as deed, made to physically observe, also like for, if, when, surely, indeed. Lo and behold, look at this revealed life as man, really this ox of this chief, this tent door, and pathway hung down, lowered as entry, to by which move, via blood, water, into, through this massive, mighty, lifted up, unknown sea, also like man, mankind, human, Adam. If and when not of this, staff, goal, control toward protection, authority, binding, leading, teaching, and thus an eye to see, experience, watch, he to understand, this cover, this hand of this arm, thrust, and deed to physically observe, sprouting seed, sons, this air, continuation, this Wahyuha given kingdom of life, that which Wahyuha's light shines on, this hand from this mighty, lifted up sea, also like on eye, eyesight, appearance, what appears, spring fountain, and this anointed hook to secure, tent peg, nailed, to join things, this thrust hand of this arm, deed to physically observe, lo, mankind, this breath of breath, life revealed in man, to hook to secure, add, join to breath, life also like one, this hand of this arm, thrust with deed of this head and person from this beginning, as top man of this topmost rule, first possession and inheritance, ox of this chief, breath, and life, revealing to mankind, also like to see, look at, inspect, perceive, a bind, control toward this bind, authority, staff, protection, goal, lead, and teaching. Nkkhchah, house in, of, inside this house, family house, tent floor plan, also like heart, inner man, central part, As an ox, strength from in this it himself, chief of in this, lifted up sea, water, blood, sprouting seed, and kingdom of life, that which I Hugh's light shines on. Also like confirmedly supported trust of this palm of hand opened. This palm of hand tamed and to subdue, allowed from that arm this hand, thrust, and deed to do deeds, made to physically observe, also like for, when, if, surely, indeed, in order that, as an ox, strength, leader from this chief of this lifted up sea, of blood, mightiness, of this head in person, from this beginning, from this topmost rule, of this first possession and inheritance, as a first man, also like to say, speak, show, declare, command, to these you, strengthers, this ox, leader, power from this chief of this mark, covenant, sign, this signature, and identification of people, place, thing, strength, to look at, behold, this revealed breath in mankind. Life also like to, has come, arrived to bring. If an ox of this chief, strength, leader, power, of this lifted up sea, blood, water, also like if, not except, on this arm, and as a hand, thrust deed, and so as a hand, in and of this deed, divided, repeated, sharpen, and thus to face this front, also like exist, existence have substance. And of this, ox, as oxen of this chief, of this lifted up, unknown, sea, of might, and added, connected, hooked to secure, as a security, and to with, joined to this air, unto sprouting seed, and this Yahuwah given kingdom of life, that which Yahuwah's light shines on, and to perpetuate it, and continue thus look and behold it, revealed breath in existence, and life, also like trust, faithfulness, fidelity, steadfastness, firmness, security, as strength, an ox of this chief, and of this lifted up, mighty, unknown sea, air, sprouting seed, given kingdom of life, that which Iho's light shines on, also like to confirm, support, trust in, as an ox of from this chief, and ox divided, facing this front, to face this front repeated, and repeating sharpened, toward and from this head and person of this beginning, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, also like who, which, that, when, where, how, like of this crown, shaken, made ready, as food, and to feed, harvest, sickle, tools, to overturn, by and from this head and person, first man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, this appearance of this, to see and heed, watching so as to understand, and to experience this cover, also like this seed, as seeds, offspring, descendants, posterity, fenced in this tent wall, inside with this head and person, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, through this staff, to, by, and of this goal, to control toward authority, protect, this bind, leading, and teaching, also like mustard, as an ox, this ox from this chief, of this lifted up, mighty, unknown sea, of blood, water, this head and person, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, also like, to, say, speak, show, declare, command, look to this man, existence, this, if any, as if, existence, off, away from life, this head and person, top man, topmost rule, first possession, and inheritance, also like, as if at all ever, a mountain, hill, range of hill, as a weapon, cut off by this crown, overturned and sickled from life, breath. Look at it revealed, also like that, or those such, as an eye to see. Experience this, watch, heed, and understand this cover, appearance of, and by this, family house, inside this tent floor plan, head in person, of this, head in person, top man, topmost rule, first possession and inheritance. Also like pass, crossed, to go, went, through, to transgress, transgressed.